Now, the family of Britain's most famous Prime Minister will travel to the Caribbean this week to apologise for the family's historical ties to slavery. William Gladstone's father, John, was one of the largest slave owners in the British West Indies. The visit by the ancestors of the former PM coincides with the 200th anniversary of the 1823 rebellion in Guyana. In a joint statement, they said they believed their ancestors' actions amounted to a crime against humanity. So is this just the tip of the iceberg for families of slave traders? To debate this, I'm joined by my pack here in the studio. TalkTV contributor Esther Kraku, former newspaper editor Emily Sheffield, and the co-founder of Momentum, James Schneider. Thank you, all three of you. Now, Esther, I know you're no stranger to this conversation. You've had it a few times on television before. I think it's coming back around again because Gladstone is obviously such a big name in this. They're going to Guyana. What struck me about this is the reparations figure. I think it's somewhere around £100,000. It's going to be used to pay for research into the impact of slavery. It seems like a good cause. 100,000 seems to me a bit small.
I mean, obviously, there is always the question of, well, if you're going to do this, then you really need to bring back the whole value of how much the slave owners were paid off. But there's the question of, because for me, this conversation has been in the public space for a while now. We know the issues of where does it stop? You know, Africans were also trading Africans. The Arab slave trade of Africans was the most barbaric. There are actually more enslaved people on the planet now as we speak than there were at the height of the slave trade. There are all these questions, which I'm sure they're familiar with. For me, I think what strikes me is this is a very public kind of exercise of spit shining their halos, right? If you're going to do this, why do we need to know about it? For me, it's like, you know, giving a homeless person £10 and filming it and putting it on social media to show how virtuous you are. I have no problem with how they want to spend their money. I would like them to give me the £100,000. I could certainly use it. Could you use £100,000?
I think that's such a mean. I think that's such a ridiculous attitude to have.
It's true.
They're making a public apology, which many of these countries, Guyana included, are demanding from people.
Who doesn't help?
They go ahead and do it. They do it publicly, and you're going, oh, I just think it's shining.
No, but because the thing
come
is,
on, that's so ungenerous.
It doesn't help
anyone.
anyone.
What do you want them to do? Apologise or not apologise?
Listen, this is the thing. This is why, ultimately, I do not care how they choose to spend their money or how they choose to behave.
It's not about the money. You just complained. You said you think it's spit shining their halo because why did they need to make it public?
Yes, why do they need to make it public?
These countries in the Caribbean have been calling for public apologies. They go ahead and do it, and you tell them they're wrong.
They don't just call for a public apology. They
can't win.
They also call for reparations. You can apologize a million times, but if they don't feel like they're actually getting reparations, if you're actually trying to rectify the wrongs of the past, they're not going to stop. They're not just asking for an apology. They're also asking for reparations.
I think that's different. That's arguing about whether the 100,000 figure is right or not. And we could, you know, everyone could keep arguing that has to be originally paid 14.6 billion.
Well, if they have that money, they're very welcome to do so.
But they probably don't have that money, so they've settled on something that maybe as a family they can afford right now.